individuals involved. Our current leader and the current trajectory of the party is the product of right-wing Labour Party toxicity, and it's not the cause of it. I witnessed this toxicity during my 2.5 years as MP for Kensington, and I'll be honest, I found it really hard. The raw hatred from some quarters for our leader at the time, Jeremy Corbyn, and anyone associated with him, and I was associated with him because I was photographed with him, clearly we were going to get married, it's ridiculous. It was visible and outspoken. At my first ever PLP meeting as a new MP, the chair, in Labour it was, suggested we stand and applaud as Jeremy came in. He just overturned all expectations and come within, 1,500 votes of becoming Prime Minister? But two MPs next to me would have none of it. And one of them said, and I won't tell you who it was, I'm not standing up for that. Horrible, really horrible. So it didn't take long for quite a few of them to decide that I wouldn't do at all, and they just ignored me, blanked me, despite what happened at the end of my road to Grenfell 4 days after I was elected. There were more Tories saying nice things to me than there were right-wing Labour members, I have to say. So I was invited to join the Socialist Campaign Group, and that was my saviour. Thank God for all the good friends and comrades I met there. So having yeah, can you hear me all right at the back? Oh, I'll stand up. Shall I stand up? That's right. So yeah, having survived the Blair years and his warmongering, which is pretty tough for a lifelong pacifist, why did I resign from the party after nearly 40 years? Despite fundamental differences with the Labour government in many of those years, I always felt somehow that I was inside the tent, I was part of the crowd, no more. I'm not welcome, that's very clear. And this became more and more difficult with the purging of left members and prospective candidates. So I thought I'd have a chance of standing again as parliamentary candidate for Kensington, at least to be long or shortlisted and have Kensington Labour Party members decide whether or not they wanted me to stand. I'd secured a massive victory in 2017, overturning a majority of over 6,000, and actually only Emma could have done that because a lot of Tories voted for me. Interesting, eh? And I only just missed out in 2019 by 150 votes, and I had cancer at the time, and I'm fine now, by the way, but I was fighting cancer at the same time. And I had a lot of support from residents across the constituency, not just North Kent. No, I was blocked by a top-down edict after enduring an interview, which I talk about in the pub, but not in public, maybe. I still have no idea which of my many sins precluded me from standing, despite my long membership and loyalty and local support. 5 are resident associations in Tory wards wrote to Starmer to complain. And being leader of the Labour group on the council, which I was. I was never told what I'd done wrong. I just wouldn't do. I was looking at the email today because the Guardian are doing something about Neil Wilson, I think. So over the months, more and more final straws weighed me down, and this happened in October that I was blocked from standing. At CLP AGM, we were forbidden from affiliating to campaigns we'd supported for years. Stop the War, CND, Republic, Sikhs for Labour, Somalis for Labour, Palestine Solidarity. In an area where more than half the residents are non-white British born, many of them refugees from war and oppression, how could we betray our neighbours and friends? Then came what I saw as a gradual eradication of our values and principles: economic justice, social justice, climate justice, peace, human rights, common ownership, defence of migrants' rights, workers' rights, support for trade unions, devolution of power, support for LGBT plus people, along with any meaningful opposition to Tory rule. Where were our red lines? In North Kent in particular, the abandonment or resistance to anti-black racism and Islamophobia, the refusal to respond to the Ford report, added up to the party turning its back on the very principles and values for which I joined all those years ago. Then came the endless reports of press complicity and backdoor deals, lobbying scandals, Starmer writing for the scum. When Diane Abbott, who had always supported me in Parliament, was suspended, I nearly resigned that day. 2 days later, we heard that the leader had accepted hospitality from a construction company in Mullally, which had been fined £10 million for refusing to remediate 4 tower blocks in Portsmouth. that had been covered in Grenfell-style flammable cladding. In North Kent, residents are rightfully sensitive to these matters, and I was inundated by complaints. They asked, how can your leader accept hospitality from this scandal-hit company that put hundreds of lives at risk of death by fire? So as Labour leader, I wrote a statement and a letter to Starmer asking for an explanation. Had he realised what he'd done? We'd like to apologise to my traumatised residents, say it was an error, and I put my statement on Twitter. All hell broke loose from a contingent of right-wing local members who'd been biting my ankles for some time. I was ordered to take down the statement, as I was not allowed to challenge the leader, or we'd all be suspended, which is probably true. That helps. Now, I've been among the millions who protested Tony Blair's war in Iraq. No one had been suspended for that. I was very, very angry, and this was my final straw. Within hours, I resigned from the Labour Party, left numerous WhatsApp groups, found a video statement for Twitter, which had over 1 million views. 1 million? I've never had any kind of attention like that. I hit a nerve, really. I hit a nerve. I can't convince anyone that a future Labour government will tackle the very serious issues we're facing in North Kent and other areas of the borough, and I know they won't. According to a recent Healthy Streets report, we have the most unhealthy streets in London. 1 in 5 children are living in poverty in the richest borough in the universe. We have children attending after-school classes asking for food. Preschool meal eligibility has doubled, and so on, and absolutely shameful in a rich borough. But we have nothing to say for it from Labour, and I find that absolutely shocking. Kensington Chelsea is a microcosm of everything that's gone wrong in the country over the past 13 years. We have super rich residents from oppressive regimes who have no sanctions, who can consider the borough their pet playground, who dump their funds in property and stay for a month, a year, if at all, and of course Grenfell. If we can fix everything that has gone wrong in the borough, we can fix it anywhere. But with Kensington Chelsea Council as the spider in the centre of the web, a web of corporate complicity, reputation saving, damage limitation, all this paid for by council taxpayers, by the way. A council that says it's so sorry about the 72 of my neighbours whose deaths in the most horrible way imaginable they are accountable for. With the Tories in power, nothing will change. But Labour, under Starmer, taking hospitality or cladding criminals, gives us zero confidence that things will change. The Grenfell Tower fire exposed the rampant inequality in the richest borough in the universe. And since that day, we have had government interference at the highest level. I was followed by MI5, very exciting. I love it. They went through my bins and were trying to befriend me. It was hysterical. A lot of people think we have malevolent forces working within our communities. We do. They spy on us and infiltrate campaign groups, befriend activists, possibly paid by the very corporations whose reputations are most at risk. They're on the line. See what happens when the report of the inquiry comes out. And we trust nobody, and we feel abandoned. And Labour isn't helping either. So given the rampant loss of principles and values we see, how can good socialists go forward and present a viable alternative? We need to offer evidence-led, this is me, I love evidence-led stuff, ground-up movement that will mobilise and excite people who feel disenfranchised and demoralised. We need to offer hope for the next generation. Brothers, sisters and friends, we will not survive the climate crisis under capitalism. We can't save our rivers and seas. Can we save our rivers and seas with nationalisation, co-ops, CICs? Can we save our health statistics with National Care Service? Of course we can. We can do all these things. The answers are right in front of us. They are no mystery. We just cut out the greed and refuse the funds. Just refuse to be sponsored. Invest in the future of our planet